Hello and welcome back to the worst War Machine channel on the internet. I'm Olorian and it's time for another War Machine battle report, but this one's a big one. This is a 100-point game. So, I've been playing quite a bit of 25-point lately with all the Commandant, all the 4-player games, and I've had a request like, well, why can't you go the other way? Why don't you play a 100-point game? So I had one arranged previously. Unfortunately, that one had to be canceled, but I arranged a second one, and so this is going to be my 100-point Infernals versus my buddy Jack and his 100 points of Khador. So on this one as well, we decided we'd go with 2 casters. Now this is kind of like the idea with 100 points. You can go with 1 caster, you can go with 2, but part of the appeal of 100 points is that that's kind of the area where you feel okay playing 2 casters. So if you ever want to be playing around with that idea of having 2 casters, well, this might be the point level you want to think about. Now on my side, I decided to go with Agathon and Zaateroth. Now the reason why I'm going with this pairing is because, well, Agathon's just really strong, right? You can go out there, you can reach out far, and you can try and kill something. So that's fantastic. No matter what type of tricks my opponent might have, if there's infantry, I can hellmouth it. If it's a Gaspy 4 or some really powerful solo, I can just go and Dark Seduction it. And if it's anything else, I can just try and Dark Fire it to death. So Agathon, great. However, that can get a little bit more fragile, and especially because you're going to be noticing, especially with Infernals, that in larger games, your support means so much more, and if it dies, you're done. Well, I needed Zaateroth to protect myself. Zaateroth is there to make sure that I can be having something that is going to be reducing the range, that might want to be shooting my support, and then on top of that, has the feat to add all that defense, so that if I go out there and really extend myself, it can be like, okay, well, I'm in danger, but I'm at +3 defense and I'll be okay. And of course, on top of that, while Agathon is dealing with all like the magical fun, well, then I can have Zaateroth going and summoning things. So that's the idea there. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have Jack's Khador that I talked about, and it's really split up into 2 different forces. So whereas my Infernal list was really designed to work together, and that's kind of how Infernal works, where everything wants to be together in a bubble, Khador can work separately. So on the left flank, you have Sorscha3 and all the Mana Wars. Sorscha is running a big, huge battle group of Berserkers, and of course the Beasto 9, the character Jack, and on the right side, we actually have Kozlov. And so Kozlov's running the big, huge Victor. We got a Torch, we got a Spriggan, we got another Shield Guard there in the back. And so really how Jack kind of perceived this going is that you have the hammer and the anvil, basically. So you have the anvil of the Sorscha3 that's going to come in and be like, okay, I'm a tough nut that you just can't really crack that well. And then you have Kozlov that is going to just swing around the flank and just smash things. And also from our games, we played quite a few of Khador versus Infernals. He knows that the Victor is a great choice against me because it can just lob those fire shots back into my support and cause a lot of trouble. So otherwise, to try and explain the terrain here, most of it's pretty simple. Each of us have a trench. There's several forests on the left side. Then on the right side, you have some shallow water. And that thing that used to be a hill is going to be like an impassable rock. So that's a rock that goes up to the sky. You can't see over it. You can't move over it. That's the type of thing there. So luckily with my +1, I did win the roll to go first. And my plan is pretty simple. I just want to be getting up the board, and I really feel like the right zone is a loss, right? With that rock being in my way, he can very easily contest it from that right side, and I probably can't get to it. So I'm probably going to stall on the right while I'm trying to smash the left side. So whether that means trying to kill the caster, whether that means trying just to kill off whatever I can, I need to destroy the left side before the right side gets to me, while at the same time realizing that all those jacks on the left side can cause me a lot of trouble as well. So overall, I feel like this could be a very difficult game if I don't execute this properly. Maybe he gets a lucky scatter, kills off a bunch of my support, but speed is going to be of the essence. All right, going into first turn, that's really what I do. So I kind of go up the center here. At first, I'm a lot more cautious. I'm asking like, okay, what's the range of your guns? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can't go up to this point. And then I realize, oh yeah, since he's -3 range because of Zaateroth, I really don't need to worry about it first turn. So I really just kind of like send up my line. I summon in a Desolator. It's going to be moving up into the trench just in case something sneaky happens. On the left side, I'm going to be summoning a Tormentor to be trying to be dealing with the left side. It felt really weird to have starting with no Tormentors whatsoever. I also should mention, I have my new Harvester of Souls. I have this new Gargantuan Horror Colossal, whatever you call these things. You might notice though that it's the only thing that's not painted, and that's because you can also see from this picture, the left shoulder blade was missing from my box. So I put in a request, but obviously I can't paint this thing till I have all the parts, so that's why it's big and ugly and gray. Sorry. Otherwise, I go up there with Ragna and I summon a second Lamenter. So again, stalling pieces to try and do this stuff. I have Scything Touch going out on one of my Soul Stalkers. You know, Hermits doing Hermit things, giving me essence. And that's really it. Alright, going on to his turn 1, he is definitely not holding back. So I was kind of figuring that he was going to be slower with his Mana Wars as he, again, wants to be able to swing around that hammer. But no, they are not holding back. They are just getting right in there. And that's going to be a problem, right? Now, I also feel like maybe he didn't put the units here the way that you'd want to have them. He does have his hammers in the center and the Mana War Shock Troopers on either flank. And I kind of figured that you wanted that shield wall in the center and the hammers on the left flank to kind of swing in after. But hey, they've mini-feeded. If I hit them, they can share these things around. Otherwise, he has some extra armor up there for his shock troopers. So their armor is really super high. And then on the right side, yeah, he has tactical supremacy onto the Spriggan. It's having to try and run around that lake. So that's making me feel good-ish, although I know it's going to be in my face really quick. But yeah, that's really it. There everything is. So as I see this being pushed in my face and saying, all right, here this all is, and if you don't deal with it right, next turn I'm going to smash you, I had to really kind of decide how I want to be tackling this. And one of the things that I first didn't really think would be an option on the table was assassination. So, you know, Kozlov is a lot easier to assassinate than actual Sorscha3. However, Kozlov is way back there behind the victor, 100% safe. The Sorscha3, you know, high armor, all these things, lots of models in the way, is camping too. And as I was looking at this, I kind of realized, oh, Sorscha3 might be in danger, and the reason why is because I was able to get so aggressive with my Desolator, I can assault one of the hammer dudes over there, and then be able to spray in a way that actually clips Sorscha. Now, Sorscha does have models in the way, but if I send in the Soul Stalker to try and rip my way through that, well, then I can go in and find line of sight on Sorscha, or I can also go and put if I move up a Forebodar with the gate, then I can actually get into the forest even and be able to get line of sight from the other side. So I have some options, although the problem with trying to do that is that he has the Stoke the Flames on the Beasto 9. So if I go too close, it's going to charge and engage me. So that one's not really there. So otherwise, I think that's what's going to be the plan. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go with the Soul Stalker. I might as well see if I can clear away. I'm going to try for the early assassination. If nothing else, hopefully I can just like bring down the boxes. Like I think the odds of assassination are low. Again, it's so hard to do Agathon math because there's so many rerolls. But if I don't kill it this turn, maybe I can kill Sorscha3 next turn, and then otherwise, I'm just stalling on the right side and waiting for that. All right, so on my turn, I do exactly what I said. I charge in the Soul Stalker. Actually, first I go in with that Desolator, so I spray in so that my charge target with the Soul Stalker will also be less armor. So that assault spray, you know, hits all three models, hits Beast 9, hits Sorscha3, hits that one hammer dude in the front. I boost the damage on Sorscha and do 1 point of damage. I didn't roll that great. It was really low. He didn't have to even reduce to make it 1 point of damage. Then the Soul Stalker goes in, in and just rip things up. So he's trying his best to share around the damage, but when the damage is that high, things are just dying, right? He just can't help it. So after that charge and all the attacks, he really has to let it go because it gets to the point where, look, it's either lose that one model or lose literally all the models. So yeah, he just decides that he'll just lose that one model. Once that model's out of the way, then it's Agathon's turn. So I go up and I do Harmonious, I do Puppet Master, I go and I kill off some of my own units so that with Orin I have some rerolls. I fly up the little Forebodar and then pop my feet and then go for the assassination. And to start off with, my dice were kind of cold. I had to use a lot of rerolls, the Puppet Master, those types of things. And then as I got down to it, I got to my last one. It's like, well, I might as well do a final boosted one just to see what happens. And for that one, I roll 6, 6, 6, and then something else. It doesn't matter. I drop. And that just did it, right? I'm a dice -4. That roll alone does 14 damage, and yeah, that's a dead Sorscha. And at that point there, Jack is saying to me, like, do we just stop the game? Because he's down a caster, he's down all that battle group on the left side, and how can he even come back? So we kind of had a quick little talk. We're like, well, should we reset and try and do a quick smaller game? Do we want to do a board game? What are we going to do? It's like, well, you know, it's Christmas. We both still have some Christmas shopping to do. Let's just keep playing, see what happens, at least for another turn. So, okay. Otherwise, on the left then, I send in some more pieces, try and do some work onto the shock troopers, trying to get more so in the way than anything else. I also turned a Viros into a Tormentor, by the way. And then on the right side, I really just run things up there. So I run the Howlers in the way to try and blunt his charge. I have my Harvester that's up there to try and threaten things. I actually don't summon anything with Zaateroth. I do pop my feet, of course, because I want to be as defensive as possible. However, I don't summon anything to already try and like even things out. You know, things are bad enough for Jack without me having another heavy, so I literally don't summon just for that one reason. But well, hopefully Jack can find some way out of this. So Jack does do some very cool things. I was 100% sure that with all the Howlers up there and a Lamenter and the feet, there is no way you could go and clear things so that you could get his Colossal onto mine. Now, for those who don't know Kozlov, it has a feat where you get extra speed and also extra armor, so that's why actually this Victor threat so far. Now, from the way that he was able to make his attacks and make his shots, the part that was really key to it is, first of all, the little shock trooper unit over here does some great work, clears some things out of the way, and then the biggest thing is that he found that if he actually charged in his torch, he could go in and finish off the Lamenter and the stuff in the way, and then be able to sprint further away so it wasn't blocking. And that was the big thing. I knew that there was the damage here in order to kill what was in the way, but then the things killing would be in the way. But because it sprints out of the way, the Victor comes in, and now we have this beautiful picture. I wish now, like, oh, and I'm so mad at myself. If this was painted, if my Harvester was painted, this would be beautiful. But yeah, this is our kaiju moment. In comes the Victor. It's going to do some big damage, but it misses its charge attack. Okay, you know, this is on the feet, you know, where like charges do extra damage. This is not what you wanted. That charge attack could have been crushing. There's still more attacks. Okay, second initial. Misses the attack. And again, like, it's not hard to hit. I'm defense 9. The feats bring me up to 12. It shouldn't be that hard to hit, but he's just having the worst luck. He buys attack. Okay, that one hits, rolls double ones for damage, and then buys one more attack. It hits, does okay damage, but at this point, who cares? You know, like, he didn't even destroy my outer ring. So this is really not what he wanted. Otherwise, on the left side, he does his best to try and hit me, but with that high defense, nothing's really happening. His one Jack Marsher comes and, you know, turns back on the Beast 09, and that's really everything. And so when we really look at it, we're like, okay, we knew Jack was in a bad spot. Then he came in, he could not do anything back, really. You know, if he would have killed my harvester, right? If this whole beautiful plan would have worked out and the harvester was dead, my right flank was crushed, okay, this could be interesting. We'll see how this thing kind of plays out. But I mean, seriously, nothing happened then. I'm going to keep on doing cleanup on the left side. On the middle, Torch is easy dead to that Tormentor. And the Victor with the armor buff, maybe I can't kill it, but I'm probably going to cripple it. You know, I'm going to fully heal all the damage done to my Harvester. You know, I can switch over Scything Touch and really do a lot of damage over here. And yeah, like clearly this game is not going to go Jack's way. And like I said, it's Christmas. We have some shopping to do. It's okay if we go and we call this now. So we decide to say, okay, that's it for this 100-point game. So overall, this was, I gotta say, a bit of a disappointing game. You know, you build up these big 100-point games in your mind. You're like, yeah, they're gonna be these epic, huge sizes. I'm gonna be having 2 casters. There's gonna be so many cool things going on. But this has been my experience with larger games, and in particular, 2 caster games. War Machine is a game of layers. You want to be able to layer on effects to be as potent as possible, and especially when you have double casters, so you can be layering feats and whatever else you need. That's where you get this maximum layer where one player has a turn and it is just crushing. And whether that happens on turn 2 or turn 3 or whatever, my experience at 100 points is that you don't have these like epic games that go to turn 6, turn 7, and you're like, oh wow, there's so much back and forth. It's really one side gets the first chance to layer on all of those abilities, does an incredible amount of damage that the other player literally just can't come back from unless like the dice crazy go their way or something. So I wanted to do this battle report not because I felt the game was epic. I mean, again, we got to see the 2 huge bases fight. That was cool. But I do feel it's a good warning for the people who like 100 points. You know, it's something to be said where like the game can be played at different sizes. However, if you are going to be playing at 100 points, I highly suggest that 1, you do not play with 2 casters. 2 casters sounds really cool, and if you want to play 2 casters, play a 2 versus 2 player game. Do that, have rules where like you can only pop 1 feat per turn, something like that. That's the way that you get the fun from 2 casters per side, is by doing a 2 versus 2 game. Okay, if you want to do a 100-point game, maybe have something else in there saying that you're not going to be layering effects or something like that, so that you don't get these situations where one side's going to crush the other. Like basically have a conversation being like, look, the purpose of this game is a big epic game, and a big epic game is not going to happen if one side crushes the other. So you need to have that conversation to make sure you're getting from the game what you want to have from the game. And unfortunately, you know, like Jack and I did have that conversation, and we talked about it. I said, okay, do you understand how deadly Agathon is? Yes, okay, I'll warn you if you're in danger. But even with that, you know, things kind of fell apart in this game where like, oh, I can apply something else in here. It's not just the feat. I can get the Desolator in there as well. And once I do that and drop the armor, okay, this actually has a chance. And now that I'm rolling dice, oh crap, I just rolled 3 6s and something else and you're dead. Oh no. So like, that's how these games can get away from you. So either way, I hope you enjoyed watching this for what it's worth. I hope that mainly though, the lesson gets across of how to properly do 100 points and the dangers of doing 100 points. So there you go. I would love if I got your feedback on this. You know, let me know about what you thought about the game, 100 points, what I said about it. And otherwise, I think this is going to be it. I'm not going to be doing any videos for this week, so I'm going to be doing a separate one just to say like a Merry Christmas type thing. But for those of you that did watch this to the end, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever your family does. I hope you have a great time, and we'll see you after. Bye.